Today I fucked up by going to my parents' house, and now I need to bleach my eyes. Literally happened 10 minutes ago, the fallout has yet to happen. Bit of a backstory, I, 26M, live about 45 minutes from my parents' house, and my eldest sister, 30F, lives across the street from me but works close to my rents. My parents, and my youngest sister, 15F, are out of town on vacation. Now, I generally go to my parents' house to work on my truck. My dad has spent a lot of money on his truck, and thus has a well-stocked garage. Plus I live in an apartment complex and don't have a garage. So I'm going over there to do a few things, put some braided stainless brake lines on, and do an oil change. This is where it happens. Now, my parents have 2 dogs. And I was trying to sneak into the house and being as quiet as possible, as I knew my eldest sister was house sitting and I didn't want them to lose their shit. This is where the fuck up happens. It works. I'm quiet. I sneak into the house, and silently close the door. I heard some strange noises coming from the living room, so I go, thinking the dogs were playing. It was not the dogs playing. It was, in fact, my eldest sister and her boyfriend, on the couch. With her sitting on his lap facing away from him, towards me with her eyes closed. I have now seen my sister's birthday suit being penetrated by her boyfriend. I also now know what my sister's face looks like in this process, and what she sounds like. I literally screamed, my eyes covered them, and ran out of the house. I'm outside, sitting in my truck contemplating my life. Send help. Too long didn't read. Parents' home is vacant other than my sister dog sitting. Went to work on my truck, saw my sister getting worked on, reverse cowgirl style. Edit, based on a lot of the responses, apparently Reddit wants me to either A, describe my sister's tits, B, make a porno, or C, go all our /sweet home Alabama with her. Y'all are animals. Edit 2, holy shit, this blew up. Damn. What happened after was, as I was sitting in my truck, they left. I went into the garage and did my work. We haven't talked yet. I'm gonna give it a few weeks for the memory to not be burned into my skull. So how are you going to explain your aversion to that couch next family gathering? At the next family gathering, will your sister assert dominance by proclaiming she saved you a seat on the couch? Edit, woo my first silver. I open my own hotel. Edit 2, OMG Goldfingerer. This is where it happens. Now, my parents have 2 dogs. Man, I'm sure glad this story didn't end up where I thought it was going. Why do you have to sneak in the house? Dogs don't like you. She works nights usually. Thought she would be asleep. Dogs bark when the door opens. Be a bro? Send a text and remind her to clean the couch. Text her and ask if she's done yet. / text her and ask if he's done yet. Today I fucked up by going for a walk and accidentally traumatizing a woman for life. Obligatory happened a few years ago etc, but basically there was this walking / bike path near my house that I would occasionally walk along for exercise. Sometimes, while walking, I'd set myself a personal goal, like reach that pole by the end of this song or whatever. I listened to music while I walked. Well, one time I saw someone walking in front of me. They were a considerable distance ahead of me, but I decided that my goal that night was to overtake them by the time I reached my turnaround point. So I started walking faster to catch up and overtake them, and realized it was a woman. At the time I didn't think anything of it, because, hey, we're both on the same walking path for the same reason, getting healthy. As I slowly yet surely got closer to her, I noticed she would occasionally turn her head and look behind her. I'd had a couple close calls with people riding bikes along the path. My fault, I only really owned dark colors, so whenever she looked behind her, I'd turn around and look behind me, because I thought she may have heard a bike bell that I hadn't heard over my music. Meanwhile I kept my speed up, because I was on pace to beat her in our race to my turnaround point. Near to my turnaround point it gets quite dark, because trees hang over the path, and it's of course here that I finally catch up with her. As I get within 2 meters of her, she suddenly spins around and enters into what I can only describe as a karate/taekwondo attack position, legs braced and arms ready, aimed directly at me. I immediately realize what I've done, wearing dark colors, looking behind me when she did, power walking towards her. I gave her the most awkward smile in the world while I power walked past her, walked way past my turnaround point so I could avoid her on the way back, and seriously considered power walking myself off the nearest cliff. As an added bonus, I later learned that there was a notorious rapist, named the Bike Path Rapist, that operated in that specific area of the bike path a few years prior. Too long didn't read, decided to race a stranger without their knowledge, awkwardly followed them, caught up to them in the darkest section of the path, nearly got Bruce Lee'd, awkwardly smiled and power walked away. The Bike Path Rapist sounds like a villain from Dexter. Definitely a psychopath. Pro tip, next time remember to carry your zooming rope with you to vary your workout. And a trash bag for #trashdag. If you ever see me at night walking with an umbrella, do not use me as a goal line. I am not expecting rain. Found the penguin. Considered power walking myself off the nearest cliff. Oh man, I lolled. Even the bonus omg. Fun story, when I was in high school, me and my friend would get together most nights of the summer to hang out, drink our parents' booze and smoke of that green machine. It got late and I decided to head home, which was about a 20-minute walk down a pretty main street. As I was walking home, I noticed a stranger on the opposite side of the street walking the same direction who was walking at roughly the same speed. As I was finding something to kill the boredom of the walk, I thought to myself, you can beat this guy. So I started walking faster and faster, trying to outpace him. This went on for several blocks and I'm started to get pretty tired and feel like I'm walking about the same speed a speed walker would be going at. Like I was basically running but still keeping it to a walk. However, every time I turned my head there, he was keeping pace without even knowing I was racing him. And I was gunning it, so I really couldn't understand how he was doing it, especially since he didn't know I was racing him. When we arrived at the street I turn off to go home, I had to cross the street and wait on the same corner as the guy I was racing for the light to change. As I get to his side, I can see he is as gassed as I was, sweat pouring from his head, and he just looks at me with a big smile and says, "Wow. That was one hell of a race, huh?" We both chuckled for a bit as I realized he was racing me too. We chatted for a while about it and said our good nights. I still laugh when I think about it. Life's funny sometimes. Today I fucked up by flipping off my 4-year-old neighbor. I'm a salty fucker, I'll admit that from the jump. I can't stand the family that lives across the street because their kid is always fucking freaking out and screaming, slapping shit, having tantrums, throwing shit across the street and into my yard. You name it, he does it. I can literally hear his fucking tantrums from my house across the way. He's a little fucking hellion. His hobby, other than having shit fits, seems to be hanging out right by the picture window and staring me down when I get into my car and leave for work. I got so sick of being stared at by this little asshole, so I flipped him off and gave him a nasty look as I was getting into my car. He immediately started screaming and crying. As I drove off, I felt weirdly satisfied. Seriously, it was the most fulfilled I'd felt in weeks. So, I immediately did it again the next day, the next one after that, and the day after that. Each time he'd start screaming and freaking out. It made me bitterly happy. This morning, as I was getting ready to leave, I saw the demon child in the window again, giving me the stare. And I flipped him off. Only this time I heard the bellow of "Hey fucker." The kid's fucking dad had been standing behind him and I didn't see him. I sprinted into my car just as he came running out of the house. I got in before he caught up with me, but that still didn't stop him from throwing a potted plant at my tail light. I'm at my girlfriend's place right now. My roommate tells me that the fucking psycho has been to the house twice looking for me. Kind of dreading going back, thinking that I'll just hang out here for the long weekend and hope it all blows over. Too long didn't read, I've been flipping off my nasty little 4-year-old troll of a neighbor for almost a week now. His daddy caught me doing it this morning and now I'm probably gonna get my ass beat. Locked due to spam hitting the mod wall. Geez, 105 hits in under 2 minutes. Y'all are animals. Enjoy the HD read. I'm really gonna need an update on this when you go home. If he ever goes back lol. Flip him off while he's whooping your ass. Please update us after the weekend lol. Leave him a potted plant in the middle of the night with a drawing of a middle finger as a gift smile.